Hey guys, this is Trenchy back again to bring you another video. This time we are doing another 20 for 2020. This time the theme is vampire movies. 20 for 2020 was created by the HorrorMan Joe and Jason from Horrific Nightmares, two really cool dudes. Um, Couple rules: no honorable mentions. Um, Only one per franchise. This one was a little confusing because there is like 600 Dracula films. Now, how I saw the rules was we could use one on one of the original Draculas, like 1930 Dracula or Frank Janella's Dracula and stuff like that. Use one of those. Then we can use one of the Christopher Lee Draculas, and then we can use whatever one-off Draculas we want, like Dracula Untold or Dracula 2000, as long as it's not a total remake of the Dracula film. Also, we can use a Nosferatu in there, even though it's a Dracula movie. Technically, it doesn't have the same name, so we can use one of the Nosferatus. Okay, let's get into this. So number 20 is My Babysitter is a Vampire for 2010. This aired on Disney. I watched it as a kid. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this movie. It's very fun. It's actually started out as a Canadian movie, then started out as a Disney original movie. So we get a little fucked up here. We have a vampire drinking rats, and they stab this dude in the eye with a fork. It's not really that violent, but and you don't really see the impale go in, but you see it in his eye, and I think you see it pull it out like this vampire. The characters are fun. I would the It's a bad movie, but I would just watch it as a parody of vampire movies, and it works. Also, this is one of the only times you'll probably see uh people use fucking tanning bed lights as lightsabers against vampires. So yeah. Okay, my number 19 is Abraham Lincoln Vampire Slayer from 2012. It's Abraham Lincoln killing vampires. You can't get much better than this. I'm still waiting for fucking Abraham Lincoln Werewolf Hunter. We had Abraham Lincoln versus zombies, and we had Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter. Why can't we get Abraham Lincoln Werewolf Hunter and just make it a solid trilogy, you know? But yeah, Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter is awesome. Um, Number 18 is Batman versus Dracula from 2005. There's more nostalgia holding this up for me, but I still really like this movie. It's really cool to see Batman go face to face up with Dracula and vampires running around Gotham City. Vampire Joker is still very disturbing, especially the Joker from this animated series that they made the movie off of. It's still just a very creepy scene, just seeing Joker as a vampire and Batman kind of like torturing him and trying to bring him back to human, and him just pleading. It's really fucked up. um, yeah, so that's number 18. Number 17 is Bordello of Blood, 1998. This is just fun. You got Corey Feldman in here. Um, got vampires that get naked, vampire women getting naked, and it's a Tales from the Crypt movie. You can't really go wrong with it, man. That's 1996, not 98. It's Bordello of Blood. Just a really fun movie, really fun movie. Uh, that was number 17. So number 16 is Daybreakers, 2009. I really like this movie with what's his name? The dude from Sinister's in it. He's in a lot of movies. I forgot his name, but he's in it, and there's some other people in it. I really like how they show the vampires have taken over the world. I really like that apocalyptic feel, but it still feels like society, because the society's still going on, but it's vampires doing it, and they got people in meat sacks, and they're still running politics, and there's there are like kind of like infected vampires feeding on other vampires. I found the concept really interesting, and I really enjoyed this film. Um, and that's my number 16, Daybreakers. Number 15 is Reflective Skin, 1990. Now you can argue if this is a vampire movie or not. Um, I consider it a vampire movie in a way. This movie is is really fucked up, really dark, very real, very grounded movie that uses vampire as a fantasy element, but the fantasy you gotta watch it. It's interesting how they do that. It's more about um kind of like childhood innocence, how we worry more about um supernatural threats, or even humans in general, we rather worry about a supernatural threat than a real life one staring us down in the face. And this is a really good movie from Canada. I recommend it. It's The Reflecting Skin, not The Reflective Skin, but it's really good. Check it out, man. It's pretty awesome. Um, if you are into really down and fucked up movies, you'll like this. This is a really fucked up, very down to earth, very deep movie with lots of moving parts. Um, Number 14 is Dust Till Dawn, 1996. Can't go wrong with this fucking George Clooney, one of George Clooney's best roles in my opinion, and Quentin Tarantino are fucking or fucking robbing banks and shit. And then they go to a fucking bar. Danny Trejo's there, and fucking Salma Hayek starts getting naked, and vampires come out, and it just becomes this badass battle between our robbers and the people they've taken hostage, and some other dudes that just happen to be there, and these vampires who are just want to eat them. It's a fun movie. Robert Rodriguez directed it. Quentin Tarantino was involved in it and stars in it. You can't go wrong. So yeah, Dust Till Dawn, 1996, and that was number 14. Number 13 is Shadow of the Vampire 2000. This is just fun movie. William Dafoe plays a fictional version of the actor of Nosferatu, but he's a vampire. He's a real vampire, and that's why the actor of Nosferatu was so creepy, because it was a real vampire. And this is just a fun movie. Um, Very well done, very funny mockumentary kind of Dracula, where of Nosferatu, of what if this guy was really a vampire? It's really funny. Um, just very well done movie in general. Shadow of the Vampire. And that's my number 13. Number 12 is another Shadow movie, What We Do in the Shadows, 2014. This movie's fucking funny, man. It's another, like, kind of mockumentary of these film crew meeting these vampires, and they're talking about shit. It's just showing them their lives. It just parodies vampires all around the board. You got newer vampires being parodied, older vampires being parodied. You got the Nosferatu vampires. You got the Lost Boys vampires. Everybody's getting parodied all around the board. And also at the same time, it's its own thing. It's very fun movie. Um, yes, What We Do in the Shadows, number 12. We got that from Lost Boys. Number 11 is 30 Days a Night, 2007. Fucking badass vampire movie. The vampires in this movie are kind of like zombies. They're just vicious as fuck, and they want to eat people. They're just monstrous. And it's Alaska. It's night for a whole month there. So these people have to survive a whole month of darkness with vampires running around trying to eat them in the cold. And I've always had this thing about things trying to kill you in the cold. When it's hot, okay, whatever. You know, you can run and shit, and you could like wear less clothing, and you can if you're bleeding out, yes, it would still hurt, but at least you're dying someplace warm. If you're getting hunted in the cold, you don't want to move in the cold. Who wants to move in the fucking cold? Cold, it specifically slows me down. um Nobody wants to move in the fucking cold, and if you have something actively hunting you in the cold and trying to kill you, and then it catches you and it makes you bleed out, not only are you gonna be cold because you're losing blood, but it's already cold out. So I don't want to die in the fucking cold. Bullshit, man, bullshit. Fucking actively hunt me in the cold. No, we'll do it someplace warm. If you have to go and kill me someplace warm, not in the cold. Fuck you. Okay, so that's my little tangent, but that's one of the reasons I love 30 Days a Night, because it's scarier for me because it's happening in a cold area. Um, Plus it's got some badass vampires in it. Number 10, Blade 2, 2002. Can't go wrong with this movie. This is like the magnum opus of the fucking Blade movies. Um, you have fucking Guillermo del Toro making some of the best vampires ever. Uh, with his infected evil vampires who might not be that bad. Who eat on other vampires. You got Blade having to team up with regular vampires to fight these infected vampires. Ron Perlman's in it. He's a dick. He's very good. You got Norman Reedus in it. He's very fun. Whistler's back for another round, and this is just awesome. Awesome mix of good horror elements, good good fighting, good mixed martial arts, some badass music in the background, and some moments that should be really cheesy, but Wesley Snipes' Blade makes them badass. Like when he catches the glasses. It's cheesy, but it's badass. And it's a horror superhero film, one of my favorite mixtures of genres. And at number 9, we have Interview with a Vampire in 1997. This kind of romanticizes the vampire and kind of looks in like the inner side, the psychological side. Uh, Tom Cruise plays a fantastic villain in Lestat. Brad Pitt does a good job, and Kristen Dunst does a good job as Claudette. Even though she was a kid when she did that, or Claudia, she does a very good job. Just all around, just a very great, well done movie. Interview with a Vampire. Number 8 is Near Dark, 1987. Can't go wrong with Near Dark. It's a fun movie. Kind of reminds me of Lost Boys that they come around about the same time. All around the same time. Just really funny, just some of the choices they choose to do in this movie. And Near Dark's just fucking badass. Coming in at number 7 is Nosferatu 1922. Can't go wrong with this classic black and white German expressionist film. Um, Nosferatu looks creepy as fuck. Um, he's supposed to be Dracula, but they go with Count Orlok. Even though if you try to watch it now, I I watched it on Tubi once, and it used Dracula in the subtitles. So I don't know if maybe they changed it over, like they changed it because I know they couldn't get the rights, so they used Count Orlok, but now does nobody give a fuck, and they just changed the subtitles to Dracula just to be like, well, that was back then. Who gives a fuck now? This movie's from 1922. Let's just make it Dracula. But I like the idea of him being Count Orlok, so it's like it's Dracula, but it's something different. Count Orlok fits him better, I believe. It just makes him his own thing from like the Bela Lugosi Dracula. So yeah, I love the expressions in this film, um, especially of Dwight Reinfeld, the guy that sends or not Dwight Reinfeld, of Renfield, the guy that sends Jonathan Harker over. I love the way he looks. It's just very well done. The shadowing in this movie is brilliant. Like all black and white movies, the shadowing's on point, and it's just great. Number 6 is Fright Night, 1985. Jerry Dandridge, bitch. Yeah. You got fucking fantastic characters like Jerry Dandridge, Evil Ed, that vampire hunter who's kind of a fake, but then he becomes like, he actually kills Evil Ed in the movie and kind of earns his stripes, and he goes after Dandridge. Um, the main character is okay, but the side characters is what really makes this movie. Jerry Dandridge is a badass, awesome villain, just oozes vampire. Uh, you know, um, the vampires can be badass and fucking have the sex appeal without being sparkly. This movie proves it. Um, we have some fun things like the vampires turn to werewolves, like in the original, and other shit, like in the original vampire lore. It's a really good movie. Fucking Fright Night, man. It would be higher, but there are a few other vampire movies that I just love more. Um, and now we're in my top five. Number five is Night Flyer, 1997. Now I haven't seen Salem's Lot. I started a new version. I did start the 70s version as well, and they both seem really good. I've read the book and it's fantastic, but Night Flyer I have not read the book, but this movie I have seen this one from Stephen King and it's fantastic. Our character is a our main character is a straight up dick. I love that our vampire uses the anagram Dwight Rhinefield, which is the name of the actor, first name of the actor that played Renfield in fucking in Dracula 1930, and um also the last name is of course Renfield from 1930's Dracula and all the other Draculas. It's just a fantastic movie. I love the ending. The gore is on point. That ending has so much blood. If you're a blood fan, you'll love this movie, especially its ending. And if you like vampires, I bet you're a blood fan. The plot of this is amazing, and that ending, that payoff is just so good. So yeah, Night Flyer, 1997. Coming in at number four is Let the Right One In, 2008. Now I have seen a lot of people have chose Let Me In. I heard I hadn't watched the remake because I saw this first and I found it amazing, and then I heard the remake sucked. But I will give it another chance since people say it's good, and I haven't seen it, so I'll give it a fair shake, and I will watch it down the line. It's probably not that bad. I like Chloe Grace Moretz, so. But Let the Right One In. I love how this is a dark coming of age story and a dark friendship story. This has a lot of heart to it, and it's pretty much about this little girl who was a vampire prostitute, goes, uh, this is a foreign film. This is a Swedish film. She goes and she meets up with this little boy named Oscar who's bullied. They start a friendship, and it's amazing. There's a lot of fucked up shit in here. Really mean bullies, and the ending scene with the in the pool is just amazing. So yeah, I Let the Right One In, 2008. Number three is Subspecies, 1991. You can't really go wrong with Subspecies. Radu, one of my favorite villains, put the screen up there with some of the other great vampire villains on here, like Lestat. And I don't want to give away the future ones, so. But Radu is just fucking amazing. He's like Nosferatu mixed with a little bit Dracula. I have not seen the sequels. I really want to though, because I really love this movie. I like how he chops off his fingers and makes little blood demons. I like this setting. The setting's very gothic, very amazing. Um, and I just love Radu. Radu's just one of my favorite vampire villains of all time. Very underrated villain. Very fun to watch. Number two is Dracula 1931. One of my top 10 favorite movies of all time. I love the shadowing in this movie. I love Bela Lugosi's performance in this movie. I love just ev- everything about this fucking movie, man, is so well done. Like I said, the shadowing is awesome. Um, our actors bring it. I love Van Helsing in this movie. I really love that scene where him and Dracula are alone and Van Helsing's calling him out on his shit and kind of intimidating him. This is just a, this is just a classic. This is the one I had to choose for my Dracula movies because it's fucking amazing. I know I have Nosferatu on here as well, but like I said, I kind of read it as um, you can have multiple, like Nosferatu and Dracula can be on the list together. Um, and Batman versus Dracula is a one-off. So, but yeah, Dracula is fucking amazing. So yeah, 1931. And my number one, my second favorite movie of all time, and one of this movie I think really captures the vampires in general, and this is Lost Boys, 1987. This is what Twilight tried to do right, This did it right. This is the this is the vampire love story. This is the male vampire love story. And I know people are like, you're comparing it to Twilight. I'm like, yeah, it's very Twilight-ish, but it's awesome. You got Kiefer Sutherland playing David, who's just badass and mysterious with his little crew of vampires flying around killing people. I love that overhead shot that Wes Craven did, where in the beginning we only see from the vampire's point of view when they're hunting people. I love the Frog Brothers in this. I like Corey Haim in this. It's just fun. I like the mix of that Goonies type of feel. I love the Goonies type of feel mixed with the sexy darkness of the R-rated vampire movie. I love the mix of that. The music of this, the soundtrack is amazing. Amazing. You got Lost Fire Will Rise Behind Those Eyes, and then you also have what's it called? I still believe through all the pain, through all the heat, and then you have Saying Unto the Night, Lost in the Shadows, such good music. Star is fucking amazing. Just all the characters are very well done, and this is just a very solid vampire film with a very badass ending, and I just love this movie so fucking much. It's my second favorite movie of all time. Fucking love it. And that's it for vampire movies. I guess next week's Home Invasion. That's gonna be hard, but I'll give it a go. Um, Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a great day. Stay frosty. Check out everybody else's list. And yeah, this is Trenchy signing off. Beep up boop.